This is the Fantasy Roadshow.
I think we should just start by breaking down quarterbacks, go straight positional all the way down.
Yeah, I like it.
Starting with the big dog Kirk Cousins to Falcons, 4 years, $150 million. Big contract. He's made, I think, the second most amount of money in NFL history.
Yeah.
So good for Kirko.
Kirko chains. Did you guys see him with him and his kids rocking the Falcons chains and stuff? That was funny.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, I think it's a bump for everyone involved there, the entire offense. So huge for London and Pitts. And then, of course, Bijan should benefit from just having a better offense and getting, a better role without Arthur Smith there. So it'll be an exciting year for the Falcons. I think they're number one in the division right now, team to beat.
Absolutely. I think the odds changed drastically once Kirk Cousins got signed. So, yeah, I love the signing. I think this is a very exciting time for Falcons fans, and I can't wait to see what they're actually capable of doing this year. So, Shane, what do you think?
Yeah, people forget, before he got hurt, Kirk Cousins led the league in touchdown passes. So, and yeah, it's a little bit of a downgrade from receiving corps, but not that much of one where I think Cousins is still a low-end QB1 on your teams this year if you wait on the position. I'm not concerned about his Achilles injury coming back. He looks pretty good already. Yeah,
I'm in the same boat. Who do we got next?
Russell Wilson, Steelers.
Oh, Big Russ, Mr. Unlimited. So I called this one. I had it in our free agency predictions episode. I said Russ was going to the Steelers. It made sense to me. And now he's there on the league minimum, like $1.21 million. I personally don't think this is much of a competition. I think Russ, this is going to be his job. Obviously, with Mike Tomlin being who he is, he's going to have to earn it in the offseason, but I don't think it'll be very difficult for him. I think he's a better quarterback than Pickett, and this is his team moving forward. So, Shane, what do you think?
Yeah, I think two things can be true. I think one, it may be an open competition because of the money. But two, I don't see any way that Kenny Pickett beats out Russell Wilson this summer. So he's going to be the starter to start the year. But I don't think he's anything more than a low-end starter in super flex or 2 QB leagues, and not even a great one as that. With that, as much as they're going to run, they lost Deontay Johnson. So it's a very limited fantasy pick.
Yeah. Coles, what do you got?
Yeah, I think Freiermuth and Pickens have a bump with Deontay getting moved. Russell had a good year last year. So, if he earns that starting job, it should be pretty good for the Steelers offense and put them in position to make a playoff run.
Absolutely. Who do we got next?
Mr. Mustache, Gardner Minshew.
Mr. Minshew Mania, going to the Raiders. Yeah, man, I don't know. Let's kick it over to Shane. Shane, what do you got for Minshew on the Raiders, man? What's going on there?
So I was a little surprised at the money. 2 years, $25 million. It's a pretty decent investment for sure. My big takeaway of this, it made me raise up in my rankings Devontae Adams 3 or 4 spots from where I had him prior, just because we saw Minshew make Michael Pittman a viable fantasy starter. Adams can run a lot of that same routes that Pittman does. He doesn't need a ton of downfield. In PPR leagues, he can be a lot of short area targets like Pittman was that have value. So my main takeaway, I bumped Adams up about 4 or 5 spots.
Yeah, that's fair. Coles, what do you got?
I think it's fine. I don't know that he's going to be the starting quarterback this year or for the next 2 years. So I don't know. I don't think this deal really says anything to me about the Raiders and their quarterback situation in the future. It's probably not going to be Aiden O'Connell, and it's not going to be Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, so you're saying that they probably will draft a quarterback this year, so at some point?
Maybe, or next year.
Okay.
just punt this year and get a Shador or something like that. I don't know. It's similar to who we're talking about next, Darnold. Like, I don't think Darnold will be the starting quarterback for the Vikings this year. If Minshew is the starting quarterback for the Raiders, then I think they're probably just punting to next year because he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's a very mediocre signing, along with Darnold. I mean, Gardner Minshew was a Pro Bowl quarterback last year. You guys remember that? He made the Pro Bowl. So
that doesn't mean anything.
I find that funny that
Gino, didn't Gino too? And he
was it Huntley 2 years ago, right?
No, Gino, I literally think was doing Pro Bowl competitions this year, and he didn't even start most of the year and had a horrible year.
Was he at the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, like he was in some bullshit like quarterback competition. I was like,
all right, so officially we're gonna put this to bed. The Pro Bowl means absolutely nothing, whether you make it or not.
It hasn't meant anything for the longest time besides like some dodgeball highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Yeah, very true. Dodgeball is the marquee event over and that says something, right?
Okay.
That's brutal. Why don't they do a race? Why is there not the fastest man in the league race, 100-yard dash? Something it's that really bothers me that there's like a dunk competition in the NBA. There should be a race in the NFL program. But whatever,
they should just scrap the entire thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Either way, so Sam Darnold, very similar to what we're talking about with Minshew. It's just a mediocre signing. Doesn't mean that he's going to be a day one starter. Maybe just a bridge quarterback. Will the Vikings trade up? Who knows? I have a buddy of mine who seems to think so. They're going to go after a top 3 pick. So. It's just kind of mediocre at best.
Yeah, I think after they've traded to get the extra first round pick now, I think they are going up into that top 5 position to get one of those guys.
Yeah.
Either way, whether if it's a Drake May or whoever, or if it's Sam Darnold, I'm not ticking down Justin Jefferson very much in my rankings.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think 1 is going to be Caleb, 2 is going to be Jaden Daniels, 3 the Patriots either go Marvin Harrison Jr. or trade back to Vikings like you're talking about, or Giants if they're in love with a guy like May at 3. 4 will be Marvin Harrison if said team trades up and gets quarterback. Otherwise, the Cardinals might be trading back to one of those teams for a JJ McCarthy or one of these other quarterbacks. So I think it's McCarthy. I can't imagine anyone trading up into the top 5 for Penix. So it'll be those 4 that go likely in the top 4 picks or top 6 picks, and then Titans, Falcons, Bears. We'll see, like best available at that point. So. I don't know. I'd say just to summarize the quarterbacks, like Wilson should be a good fit for the Steelers. I know Truck tried bullying me in our predictions episode to joining him on the Russell to the Steelers train. I'm sure we talked off air and was like, yeah, that's the most no-brainer spot for him. Because I remember when you were introducing that, you're like, and Coles, you got Wilson to the Steelers too, right?
Yeah, I thought you would have something similar because it just made sense to me.
Yeah. So that was you were trying to bully me there. You were right. Think he's going to be good for the Steelers. I think that's it'll be interesting. Every team in that division is probably going to be projected at like 9 wins or more, 8.5 to 9 wins or more. Like they're all in a position to have a really good year. Falcons ran away with the South, signing Kirk Cousins. It looks like the Bucks are going to be running back that same roster almost. Those are the 2 biggest moves, and then the rest is just kind of placeholders to see what plays out. I know Drew Lock signed with the Giants. We didn't speak about that, but it looks like be in competition for the quarterback job. To me, those are all the kind of the same signings.
Yeah, there's a few signings that we're not going to mention. they're backup quarterbacks at best. So,
well, to me, that's what Darnold is. And then even Minshew. I mean, yeah, the money says it was a little bit more, but they had the money to spend and like whatever.